So I told you guys that I was going to bring on a guest. I was going to bring on Eric Lyons, who is the host of the Electrified Podcast. And he knows so much about boxing. He's been watching boxing since he was a kid. And he also knows so much about the Packers because for some reason he's a diehard Packers fan, even though I think he's from Baltimore. And what I wanted to do is I wanted to bring him on and talk about the Deontay Wilder and Tyson Fury and Anthony Joshua situation because I think he would know a lot more than me. And of course, we'll chop it up about what Aaron Rodgers is going on or what's going on with Aaron Rodgers. So I thought again, his podcast and everything will be in the description below. But I thought this would be the perfect episode to bring on Eric Lyons, which again is the host of the Electrified Podcast. Without further ado, here's my conversation with me and Eric.
So I do want to thank you, of course, for being on. So here's the thing. Here's my problem with the boxing in general.
Mm-hmm.
It just doesn't make sense. How is it that you've been slating? First of all, we all know what happened with Deontay Wilder, Tyson Fury the first time, the draw the second time. Wilder got his ass whooped. It just now. How is it that you can slate and you can promote this Anthony Joshua Tyson Fury fight, and all of a sudden say, "Hold up, no, that's not what we're gonna do. We're gonna do a fight that while people do want to see, you've been hyping up Anthony Joshua and Tyson Fury. So now it's just like,
Right.
like why? You know what I mean? So what is your opinion? How do you feel about, first of all, the Tyson and Fury, I guess, trilogy?
Okay, so I don't have a problem with the trilogy. A lot of boxing fans do. I don't personally. Most of the problems are coming from the UK fans. They hate this, and I don't know why. They hate this because they're scared that Wilder's going to knock Fury out this time. Let me tell you something. So the way I look at it is Anthony Joshua and Eddie Hearn. It's all about promoters when it comes to boxing. And you look at Tyson Fury and Bob Arum. I personally think that Tyson Fury and Bob Arum had a strong feeling that the Wilder fight was going to have to happen because the arbitrator was going to rule in Wilder's favor.
Mhm.
Don't know why they used Anthony Joshua's name so much and why they acted like this fight was going to happen. Bro, they gave us a date. They gave us a
Yeah.
location. They put out
Promotion?
graphics and every
Yeah.
promotions with nothing signed. There were no contracts signed.
I didn't know that. Okay.
There was nothing on paper. So that's why I never believed it. 3 weeks, like last month, I want to say the end of April, Tyson Fury and Bob Arum flew to Vegas. What did they fly to Vegas for? If the fight's supposed to be Saudi Arabia, what y'all doing in Vegas? Y'all was going there to get the site deal done for the Raiders Stadium. Man, I see it all, man. It's all smoke and mirrors, man. It's all smoke and mirrors, bro.
So do you think, so this isn't the first time this happened, Clay.
Mhm.
They're promoting another fight, but in the back end,
Mhm.
something else can happen. Do you think with there being, Showtime and with there being a whole bunch of promoters and Top Rank, do you think that boxing can never be quote unquote unified as
No.
far as
Never.
why do you think that?
You got, like you said, you got Top Rank, you got Premier Boxing Champions, you got DAZN now, Matchroom. There's so much going on. It's a monopoly on boxing. It's not like the UFC or like Bellator or something like that when everybody's under one umbrella. When you look at boxing, it's like so many different umbrellas. That's why you got guys like Terrence Crawford at Top Rank can't get a fight with Errol Spence,
Yeah.
or you got a guy like Canelo. See, Canelo's a free agent. See, he got away from Gold Boy. He can do whatever he wants, but everybody don't have that freedom. You know what I mean? So it's just a monopoly on boxing. Like I look at it like WWE, you got Raw and SmackDown. At least we know where everybody is.
Yeah.
With boxing, it's so much going on, man. It's so hard to make these fights because the interpromotional money, promoters, and just politics in general. It's bad. It's bad for the sport.
You talked about, and I agree. I feel that even though I feel boxing could potentially make a ton of money if it was all under one umbrella, but then you have to think who's going to be holding that umbrella. So I get that. You talked about Crawford, you talked about Spence, and how sometimes some of the big names at the moment don't fight each other.
Mhm.
Do you think that ultimately hurts boxing as far as, because now I remember we saw Terrence Crawford fight the last fight, and we were just like, I mean, he's good, but he hasn't boxed bing, 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 and that's due to promotion or what was camp you're on. Do you feel like at the end of the day, because boxing may not be under one umbrella, it ultimately hurts boxing?
Absolutely. I mean, we're not getting the fights that we want to see. We're not seeing the superstars fight the superstars. Then you get into deeper than that, even outside of promotions. You got to look at the belt commissions. You got the WBO, the WBA, the WBC, the IBF, and they can order fights. Like they can order you a mandatory challenger without that's out of your control. It's so much like I want to say like red tape. It's we can't get the fights we want. So you look at Crawford and Spence. When it comes to them, you got Crawford at top rank. You got Spence at PBC. Apparently, the money was never right between them.
Yeah.
And it's just like we can't even unify a division because the fighters want it, but it's the promoters and the people behind the scenes who are making the fight not happen.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's just hard. It's hurting boxing for sure because we're not getting the fights we want, and we end up getting fights like warm up a lot of tune up fights that are ending fast or just look like the champion is overmatching the challenger, and it's just like that's not good for sport.
Yeah. So we talk about, we're talking about boxing and everything, and I do appreciate you coming on. Eric Lyons, the host of Electrified Podcast. Who was the face of boxing? We
Canelo Alvarez. Canelo Alvarez.
Even though a lot of people, I do hear a lot of people say, well, because he's on DAZN, he doesn't play, he doesn't fight, I guess, quote unquote, top rank. But you'll say Canelo?
Let me tell you something right now, man. People can say whatever they want about Canelo Alvarez. They can say he don't fight. No, let me tell you something. Canelo Alvarez was on Golden Boy and got away from Golden Boy so he could fight who he wants. Canelo Alvarez is a multiple division champion. His current resume, nobody else in boxing right now outside of Floyd, no current boxer has his resume. His only loss is to Floyd. When your only loss is to arguably the greatest boxer of all time, you're doing pretty well. He's beaten Miguel Cotto. He's beaten Sugar Shane Mosley. And these were young. He was young when he was fighting the big guys in the sport. So now you look, he's beating guys from the past, the present. And now what he's doing, he's just collecting belts. It's not his fault that he's at where's he at right now? 168?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not his fault that he's there. And you got guys at 154 calling him out. All they want is a payday, bro. He said it. All y'all want is a payday. It's one belt left at 168, and that's Caleb Plant. If he becomes the undisputed champion at 168, I don't see where the argument is. This man has gotten belts at 147, 154, 160, 168, and 175. Come on. At 30 years old, he's only 30. Come on.
All right, so before we kind of get off this, I do want to conclude the Tyson Fury and Deontay Wilder. Who do you think is going to win the third round and why?
Let me tell you. Deontay Wilder, he hasn't fought since that fight. He switched up his team. I've been watching his training videos. Even at 35 years old, it's never too late to learn. Like I said, Deontay Wilder, all he needed to do was work on his footwork and controlling that chaos. Don't come out and throw the bombs early. No, learn how to set the bombs up. Because if you timed them at the right time, it's night for Tyson Fury. And I think that Tyson Fury knows that. And that's why he was trying to get the AJ fight. Because honestly, that's an easier fight. But fighting somebody that you fought twice already and that's making adjustments, that knows you well, yeah. So I'm taking Wilder, man, with a knockout.
It's funny you said that, man. That Tyson, Deontay Wilder Anthony Joshua is an easier fight than Deontay Wilder, because I'm hearing a lot of people say he's actually running from the harder fight because of how technically sound Anthony Joshua is, and of course, and I guess it's recency bias because the last time we saw Wilder, he was going crazy, and of course we know about the whole wardrobe thing, and so you feel that Wilder is a tougher fight than Anthony Joshua right now?
Let me tell you something. Anthony Joshua is not a fighter. Anthony Joshua is somebody who was just in the gym at the right place at the right time. He's just an athletic dude who happens to box. Let me tell you something. After the Andy Ruiz fight, which I knew he was going to lose, I felt it. I felt it in my spirit. I said, yo, this little fat man going to beat this dude. And he did. After that, it's just like I haven't seen him, even though he, got his avenged that loss, I haven't seen him have that same energy he had when he beat Klitschko. I don't think he has. I just think that Fury would outbox him easily. I think that's the easier fight. I don't think he has enough. I don't think he has more power than Wilder. I think he's more predictable than Wilder. I think that right now Wilder is a wild card because nobody knows what we're going to get in this third fight, being as though he switched his team up. So yeah, that's why I think Wilder's the hard fight right now.
Okay. So you can hear in how you talk about boxing that it's been in your blood for a while.
Oh yeah.
I remember I watched a couple of your episodes, which is great, by the way, and you saying you pretty much grew up on boxing.
Yeah.
With that being said, looking at the whole totality of boxing, and I kind of want to go over to the Logan Paul and Floyd Mayweather fight. I talked about this on my podcast, and of course, it's different coming from somebody that watches boxing and kind of lives boxing for a living. Do you feel like fights like Jake Paul and Logan Paul and Floyd, do you think that that's good for boxing?
Since the YouTube era, this era has started, I've always said it's bad for the sport. It's bad for the sport because that's not real boxing. It's not real boxing. And, these guys are actually fighting on real promotions. Like, this is a Showtime fight. Like, he has a Showtime deal. And, all right, it's okay. We got YouTubers fighting YouTubers. Okay. Then we got YouTubers fighting NBA stars. Then we got YouTubers fighting UFC stars. It's nuts, bro. It's all it is. It's entertainment. And I think as a hardcore boxing fan, I can separate the two. I know what real boxing is, and I know what this is. This is a sideshow. This is entertainment. But casual boxing fans, the lines blur for them. So they're looking at Floyd like, yo, what are you doing? This is bad. But all this is a bag for him. 3 years ago when he fought McGregor, that was the biggest thing in the world at that time. Because hypothetically, they were the best of both worlds at that time, and that was a hypothetical fight that everybody wanted to see, right? But then you look at I call this the exhibition era that we're in right now, because that's all it is. You got Mike Tyson and Roy Jones. Holyfield is trying to fight. Oscar De La Hoya, who I think is playing with his nose again, wants to fight. All these old guys are coming out of nowhere to have exhibitions, even Miguel Cotto. So it's the exhibition era, and I think that it's not just on Floyd. I think that's where people go wrong. Floyd did this 3 years ago, and after that, everybody's been trying to chase the bag that he got in that fight. Floyd's been a blueprint for everything all the time. So I'm not mad at Floyd for getting a quick bag, but it is what it is. It's entertainment. It's not real boxing. And on top of that, on that card, we got Jared Hurd and he's boxing, and Badu Jack and Jean Pascal. So it's two real boxing matches on this card. So real boxing will be displayed.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, I kind of feel how you feel. I think, and I said this on my podcast, you can look at this in two different realms. The hardcore boxer, like, this is, why is Floyd doing this? You're stooping down to the level, this, that, and the third. But then on the other side, this is bringing more attention to the quote unquote sport. This is, you're getting new fans. Now, I didn't really think of it. And you did say the casual fans that think, okay, Jake Paul or Logan Paul is on the same level as a Floyd Mayweather, or, watching Nate Robinson fight Jake Paul is real boxing. So I understand that. I feel that. A question that I did just remember that I do want to ask you: how do you feel about Pacquiao fighting? Was it Spence? How do you feel about that?
Let me tell you, Manny Pacquiao. I respect his legacy, right? I respect everything Pacquiao has done. I respect all the belts he's won. He's won a lot of fights. But at 42 years old, in the Lord's year of 2021, he's bitten off way more than he can chew. Let me tell you something. Pacquiao hasn't fought. By the time this fight happens in August, it would have been 2 years and 1 month since the last time he fought. And that was when he fought Keith Thurman. Only reason he won that fight is because it was an early knockdown. And after that, he kind of coasted and got tired. But Keith Thurman was coming back, but it was too late. Pacquiao was too old for this, man. He's too old for this. And he's fighting for belts. This is another thing. This is my problem with boxing. Y'all letting a 42-year-old Manny Pacquiao get in a ring with Errol Spence, who has 2 belts. If Pacquiao wins, he's not going to defend them, bro. He's going to hold the belts hostage, just like he held his last belt hostage. And they made him drop it because of inactivity. Bro, go run your country. Go to the Philippines. Go run your. It's over for you. So I hope and I pray that Spence don't get in there and play around. No, go knock him out. Go put him out of his misery because it's over for him. He bit off more than he can chew right now. And I hope that Spence doesn't go in there and try to... No, go knock him out, bro. Go knock him out. It's over for Pacquiao. You're 42 years old. Go home. Please, go home.
Yeah, I was shocked when because I remember hearing about Spence and Crawford. Then all of a sudden, when I see Spence again, he's fighting Manny. I'm like, oh, I don't... Okay.
Yeah,
I mean, nothing against Manny, but if that's what you want to do, hey.
Right.
All right.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know.
But again, I'm here with Eric Lyons, the host of the Electrified Podcast, and we're going to kind of switch gears. First and foremost, I have to ask, you're from Baltimore.
Yeah.
Why are you a Packers fan?
All right. So when I was younger, all right, because I'm 22, I was younger. The Ravens were not that good, right? You know, this is the Kyle Bowler era. You know, the best thing Baltimore had was Ray Lewis, right? So my grandma, she bought me a Brett Favre bobblehead. And, you know, Madden always played with the Packers. So as a kid, of course, I'm a Ravens fan, but I like the Packers. So I guess, though, as I got older, when Aaron came and, you know, took over, that's when I really became a Packers fan because, you know, I was a dual threat fan, but I was like, yo, I have to pick one. So I picked the Packers. I say Packers fan. I love the Packers. People think I'm from Wisconsin. I have cheese heads. Obviously, I got my boy on my wall. I got a bunch of Packers jerseys. I love the Packers. I love the Packers.
So with your love for the Packers, that means you are the person and the perfect person to ask about the whole Aaron Rodgers situation. Now, I think we can't talk about the Aaron Rodgers situation without discussing what happened at the end of Brett Favre's run. We know that Green Bay, first and foremost, doesn't have an owner. We also know that Green Bay has a tendency of trying to get off a quarterback maybe before they have to. The only problem is at the end of Brett Favre's career, he wasn't Aaron Rodgers. So how do you feel about everything that's going on with Aaron Rodgers and the Green Bay Packers?
I think when you compare, I'm glad you brought that up. When you compare the situations, Brett Favre was at the end of his road. It was over for Brett Favre. You know, it was coming towards an end. He already hinted at retiring. Aaron Rodgers has been adamant in saying, yo, I want to play until I'm in my 40s. I'm not ready to go yet. Yeah, I may be on the back nine, but I still got some left in me. So it has never been, we need to get away from him because he's about to retire. No, he's not done yet. He's not done yet. I mean, you go back to the Jordan Love draft pick, which I was very confused about, very upset about. You traded up for a quarterback. But I
got at the position you were at, by the way.
Exactly. I strongly believe that, you know, coming off that NFC title game loss against the 49ers, they thought that at Aaron's age, he had plateaued. I think they thought he was content with maybe, you know, a little bit under 30 touchdowns and 5 interceptions. Like that was it for him. Yeah. So for him to come out and throw damn near 50 touchdowns and win an MVP, that threw a wrench into whatever plans they had. Yeah. I really think that they thought it was almost time for him to go, but bro, it's not. It's not. I'm never one to ride for management. Never. I'm always on the player's side, whatever the situation is. And we all know that the majority of Rodgers' career, he's been failed by the system. He's been failed by Mike McCarthy. Even deeper than that, defensive coordinators, because Mike Pettin just lost the NFC Championship game 2 years in a row. Yeah. It's always been management's fault, bro. They just piss him off constantly, and it feels like they just don't care about him.
Yeah, man. Colin Cowherd said something that resonated with me today. He said, if you look at Green Bay, first of all, Green Bay has an reigning MVP. But if you came out today, and of course, knock on wood, this doesn't happen, but if you came today and said Devontae Adams gets hurt out for the season, Green Bay's chances of winning a Super Bowl just goes out the window. But if you look at Patrick Mahomes, if Tyreek Hill goes out, you still have Travis Kelce, you still have uh, those pieces. If Chris Godwin goes out, you still have those pieces. It's like I agree with you in saying the management has done a disservice, and I think that at some point it's either you just don't know or you just don't care.
Mm-hmm.
Like a report came out saying that Julio Jones, we know what's going on with Julio. He narrowed his decision to the Patriots and the Tennessee Titans. And I think reports came out saying that Green Bay didn't even give him a call. Mm-hmm. Do you think that this is beyond repair, as in Aaron Rodgers and Green Bay? And I before you answer, I believe so. I'm going to give my opinion. I believe so because I just don't think they know. They don't know how to get out their own way as far as Gunther Kuntz, as far as the management. They just don't know how to get out their own way. And it's like, yeah, I understand you have Devontae Adams, who's a top 5 receiver last year. And you, of course, you have Aaron. Well, you had Aaron, but it's like, that's not going to get it done. You look at the Brett Favre era, and Brett Favre could have had more championships than he had. It's just you didn't really help. I mean, of course, you had Donald Driver and everything, but you didn't really help Aaron Rodgers. There's no reason why Aaron Rodgers is considered one of the greatest quarterbacks as far as talent-wise, and he only has 1 Super Bowl. Mm-hmm. So I bring it back to you. Do you feel that the relationship between Green Bay and Aaron Rodgers is unrepairable at this point?
I mean, Tay has went down before, and the Packers have been able to stay afloat, and that's because Rodgers, man, obviously. I mean, but they do have other receivers on their roster, MVS, Alan Lazard, who I love. Guys can make plays, and they show it up and show out, but it starts with Aaron Jones in the backfield. That's really the key to our offense, and I was surprised that he stayed, honestly. I thought he was gone. Yeah. I thought Aaron Jones was gone. I thought he was going to Miami, to be honest. But you look at, we always say Rodgers should have more rings, and that's just a fact. Look at the championship losses he's had. You got the Seahawks game where special teams and defense just folded, right? You can go back 2014 against the Cardinals. After he throws a Hail Mary, Mike McCarthy decides to tie it up instead of go for 2.
Yeah,
I'll go to my grave saying we should have went for 2 and put them away in regulation. And then 2 straight NFC Championship losses this past year, and honestly, they could have beat the Bucs. Brady played terrible.
Yeah,
Brady played awful, but you know why Brady won that game? Because Brady had a defense he could rely on. Mm-hmm. Brady had running backs he could rely on. Everything. That's the quarterback. That's why he's the GOAT. I don't consider him a GOAT talent-wise. He has the rings, but rings are a team accomplishment. I will always say that rings are a team accomplishment. That's why guys like Drew Brees and Aaron Rodgers only have 1. Because Tom Brady, you call him Sis Tom all you want. It's not his fault that the organizations build around him and do whatever they need. They went out and got Antonio Brown, Leonard Fournette, Gronk. They made him comfortable. And in 1 season, he went to the NFC and won a goddamn Super Bowl. Rodgers been trying to do this again since 2010. Yeah. They don't build around him. They don't do what's convenient for him. They do what's convenient for the organization. And that's always the difference. You're supposed to cater to your star player, not to what y'all think is right. So you look at them not drafting a receiver or them not going out and getting big free agents or making trades for like somebody like Will Fuller. Yeah. Rodgers and Matt LaFleur wanted him. And y'all didn't trade for him. What the hell are y'all like? What, y'all not like this, man? Yeah. Y'all not want to win. Like, I just don't know. I don't understand. And like you said, I don't know if it's repairable. I personally don't. Aaron Rodgers is a positive guy. He is a positive guy, but even watching him in interviews, you can tell he's beyond ticked off. Yeah. And like you said, it's not the staff. It's not even a Jordan Love pick. It's probably the idea of the Jordan Love pick. It's like, yo, y'all thought it was time for me to roll out? Okay, watch this. I'm going to go win an MVP. Now what? Now what you going to do with me? Yeah. So, yeah, I think that Rodgers, that's a wrap. That's a wrap. And what the hell? Get rid of him. That's the problem here. Get him out of here. But yeah, man, I don't know. And then it's just like they don't build enough, like at all, man. They don't build around him. It's bad. It's bad for business.
So in your heart of hearts, week 1, where do you think Aaron Rodgers will be playing?
Well, I don't think they're going to trade him.
Hmm.
He'll probably just be at home.
Yeah.
If he really doesn't want to play for this team anymore, he'll be at home because they're not trading him. You got to be out your damn mind to trade Aaron Rodgers. I don't even think anybody would be crazy enough to do that. But look, man, I hope it don't come down to that. I really don't. But I don't know, man. I see him retiring before he gets traded. That I can see.
Again, I have Eric Lyons here, the host of the Electrified Podcast. Before I let you go, I know I didn't say I was going to ask you, but we're here. The season starts. Of course, we have the Patrick Mahomeses and Chiefs and Aaron Tom Brady's and the Bucks. Take those aside. Put those aside. What does your dark horse Super Bowl look like?
Dark horse Super Bowl. Sheesh.
While you say it, I'll give mine.
All right.
Dark horse Super Bowl. I'll say the Ravens because I feel like if they get a now I know your gripe against Ravens fans that was well documented, but I'll say Ravens in the AFC because I feel, of course, Rashad Bateman was a really good pick in the draft, and I feel if they get Julio, oh yeah, they do need to figure out now. At that point, if they get Julio, it's on Lamar. As far as Lamar needs to develop his passing ability. Not saying he can't pass, but he'll finally have a true number one, and I think that would definitely help. So in the AFC, I'll say the Ravens. In the AFC, in the NFC, I'm gonna have to go with the Rams. All these moves that they made, and a lot of people were saying that the only thing that was holding the Rams back was Jared Goff. And a lot of people are still skeptical of Matthew Stafford. The problem is y'all ain't watched Matthew Stafford.
Oh yeah, and you know who you're talking to.
Exactly.
He can sling it. It's always been the Lions are just trash. Ain't nothing wrong with Matthew Stafford.
Yeah.
You give him a line, yeah.
So along with Matthew Stafford, along with the offensive line, along with the defense, and seeing as though Seattle just cannot, for the life of me, address their offensive line to save their life. Of course, you get the 49ers and a lot of Nick Bosa comes back, but we don't know what's going to go on with Jimmy G and Trey Lance. I think that, and of course, going on with Aaron Rodgers and what's going on with Green Bay, those are pretty much the marquee places now. And I think defensively, the Rams can go toe to toe with the Bucks. So I would say my dark horse Super Bowl would be the Ravens and the Rams.
All right. So if Rodgers is there, obviously, I think the Packers can make a run.
Mm-hmm.
But if he's not, I think I agree with the Rams. I think they're a great team, and all they got to do is stay healthy. Their offense just has to stay healthy. You want to keep Cooper Kupp and Robert Woods on the field at the same time at all times because they play well off each other. My problem, the reason I don't want to put them there is they really don't know. They can't run the ball. They need a running back, right? So I'm not picking them. I don't know who. Hold on, let me think about the NFC. Shoot, man, the damn 49ers, if they can get it together, that defense is still there, you know?
That's true.
So then maybe the 49ers can get there, but from the AFC, I'm picking Pittsburgh.
Pittsburgh Steelers?
Pittsburgh, I'm gonna get a lot of heat for this, but look, they were a running back away from damn near undefeated season. The reason they fell off is because they weren't healthy, and they couldn't run the ball when it got cold outside. Big Ben too old to be throwing the ball 60 times a game. That arm is burning. Yeah. They drafted the stud, okay? Mm-hmm. If that defense can hold and play like they was last year, man, the Steelers might do it. I'm telling you.
I didn't see that coming.
So give me Steelers and Rams in the Super Bowl.
I did not see that coming.
Give me Steelers and Rams.
That was it.
Tell you, but I would like to see. You mentioned Julio. I wish Buffalo would trade for him.
Man, look.
Telling you.
I think people don't really understand how important a number one receiver is for a younger quarterback.
Mm-hmm.
Because we see how Josh Allen just went crazy after he got Stephon Diggs.
Yep.
And if you get Stephon Diggs on one side and then Julio on the next,
that's curtains.
At that point, I don't see
curtains. You don't even need a running back.
Yeah, at all. Curtains. Like, it's wow. Well,
hold on. And I don't know why the hell Ravens fans want Julio. Let me tell you something. Julio don't want to come to Baltimore. He don't want to come here and run the pacer test for 4 quarters while Nick Boyle get 250 yards receiving and Lamar and J.K. Dobbins are combining for 450 on the ground. Y'all think Julio gonna come here and catch a ball? Hell no. Y'all know Ravens don't like tall wide receivers. Everybody on the Ravens is either my height or they 5'9". So nobody want to play in Baltimore. That's all I got.
All right, well, at the end of that, and this is where we'll end. Where do you think Julio ends up?
He don't have no trade clause. So that's what I don't understand. These players can want out all they want, but that don't mean they gonna get traded. I don't think he's going nowhere. He can want out all he want. But he gonna have to sit down until their contract up, if that's the case. Cause ain't no way, unless somebody throwing like 3 first rounders at the Falcons, I don't know. I just don't see it happening like that. We'll see. Cause June 1st, after June 1st is when I think we'll see more of, this starting to heat up once, the league year, resets and everything is on the table. Yeah, I would, but, realistically, I think he's going to go to a team with the young quarterback. I think because they're not going to send him in the NFC. So I'm looking at the AFC, maybe the Chargers. Maybe get him out there with Justin Herbert and Keenan Allen. Mike Williams, that's dangerous. Yeah. And they can run the ball. So that's dangerous right there. I think the Chargers is the best place for him.